the incumbent French president Emmanuel Macron faced the populist right-wing leader Marine Le Pen in the second round of the presidential election on Sunday, April 24th. The polls were proven correct in the end, with Macron winning with a small margin. Macron received 58% of the vote, with Le Pen receiving 42%. Macron's victory will ensure continuity in French domestic and foreign policies, but he faces significant challenges both domestically and internationally. France has seen a reversal of fortunes in the Pacific, with Australia reneging on its nuclear submarine deal, whilst in Africa France is losing its influence to the US. Domestically, France is politically divided and increasingly worried about issues like the cost of living and globalization, which creates a constant risk of social unrest and internal conflict. Israeli warplanes have launched an attack in the Gaza Strip, coinciding with Israeli attacks on Palestinians during Ramadan. Like previous Ramadans, Israeli soldiers stormed the Al-Aqsa compound in full riot gear, utilizing stun grenades and ammunition against worshippers. Israeli soldiers made their way into the mosque and assaulted worshippers, medics, journalists, elders, and even children. Over 400 people have been arrested and 150 injured, and 15 have died. This was not an isolated event. It's been common practice during Ramadan and usually comes before any attack on Gaza. The US has gone to great lengths to build a coalition of the willing against Russia due to its invasion of Ukraine. China and India have been targeted by the US, but India has not just resisted, but increased its trade with Russia. India's state-owned refineries have announced plans to buy as much Russian oil as possible, as large discounts and direct contracts are being offered. India has also resumed the export of tea and food products, including rice, fruit, coffee, seafood, and confectionery, to Russia last week. According to Indian media, these transactions are being carried out in rubles and rupees. India's continued willingness to do business with Russia could undermine the US strategy to force Russia into concessions through economic isolation. Egypt's government has been placed on high alert following the emergence of an online petition to remove President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi from office. A Facebook group called Egypt's Technocrats shared the petition, which calls for the suspension of both houses of parliament and a withdrawal of confidence from Sisi due to his inability to manage the economy. The Egyptian economy has been struggling ever since Sisi took over in a coup back in 2013. Poverty and inflation have been increasing, whilst national incomes have been falling as vanity projects struggle to create a sustainable growth. Sisi, like his predecessors, has resorted to the iron grip to maintain control, and with much of the conditions that led to the original Arab Spring still remain, it's really just a matter of time the masses take to the streets again. Several days of unrest in Sweden, sparked by a far-right group's plan to burn copies of the Quran, wounded at least 40 people as police called for more resources to deal with the violence. Aiming to drum up support ahead of Danish legislative elections, the burning of the Muslim holy book is a well-practiced stunt by the Danish-Swedish politician Rasmus Paludan. Paludan declared a tour of Sweden, planning to visit cities and towns with large Muslim populations with the intent of burning copies of the Quran during Ramadan. More than 40 people have been arrested after violent clashes. Sweden's national police chief said he had never seen such violent riots following clashes in Norrköping, which is about 100 miles southwest of Stockholm. 41 civilians, mainly women and children, were killed and 22 others were wounded in Afghanistan's Khost province after Pakistan Air Force conducted military airstrikes. The attacks come after the Tehrik-i-Taliban group stepped up attacks since the group unilaterally walked out of the months-long ceasefire agreement brokered by the Afghan Taliban, after accusing Islamabad of not fulfilling its promises. Pakistan strongly condemns the use of Afghan soil by terrorists for activities against Pakistan and expects that the interim Afghan government will not allow conduct of such activities against Pakistan in future, said the Pakistani military media wing, the ISPR, in a statement. The Pakistani Taliban emerged in 2004 as Pakistan launched operations into tribal areas due to America's Afghan war. Despite numerous truces between tribal leaders and Pakistan, tribal leaders alleged treachery on the part of the Pakistani government and have ever since continued a low-intensity insurgency against Pakistan.